Hello, my beauties. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Maggie, and I do all types of self-care, skincare, spiritual care types of videos. So if that's something you may be interested in, please stick around by hitting that subscribe button so that you never miss another upload. But if you're just here because of the title, then today I am going to be talking about simple ways that we can spend a little bit more time with Jesus, with God every day. So let's jump into these tips now. So I know sometimes even us Christians, I know sometimes can get a little bit discouraged. Sometimes we feel like having Bible study or talking to God can be like more of a chore sometimes. And we of course should not be feeling that way. It is a privilege. It is an honor to be loved and to be saved, right? And to be created by God, right? So I think once we shift our mind and start looking at it from a different point of view, then we will start to actually enjoy the thought of waking up to Him, enjoy the thought of praying and having these conversations and these like secret little relationship, with God, just to have Him as like our own personal savior and guider, guidance. Like it's all about how we think about Him, right? And how we allow Him to flow into our lives. So with that being said, no, we don't have to spend hours and hours praying and having Bible study, even though that is great. But no, I am simply here to give you some tips on little ways we can spend a little more time with Him that is just as beneficial as spending hours and hours praying, right? And reading the Bible. So tip number 1, to spend a little bit more time with Jesus today, and that is listen to gospel music. Now in my house, I usually try to do this every morning. It's usually beneficial when I'm doing my morning chores or I'm doing my morning yoga or meditation. I'm always have my Pandora playlist. I go right to Hezekiah's Walker station or Yolanda Adams station on Pandora, and I just get my life. It's always such a great way to, start the day, and I have it usually loud enough where the whole house can hear, so the kids are waking up and we're praising and we're worshiping together, and it's just a great way to, again, praise and worship and just give thanks by singing, because God actually enjoys that when we sing and praise and worship to Him. So that's definitely a great way to spend some time with God. All right, tip number 2 is to read a chapter out of a Christian-led book. So it can be the Bible, it can be a spiritual type of book. All of my books in my library are pretty much spiritual, pretty much, geared towards getting more spiritually connected, things like that. So yeah, I just literally grab one of my books from my bookshelf. I sit in my little reading corner. I'll sit in my bed. I'll sit on the couch with a blanket, and I would just try to start my day off a little more productive, right? Filling my mind up with something that's going to help carry me throughout the day. Further, feed my scrolling habit, right, of social media and other things. So swap that out for a chapter, reading a chapter out of your Bible or out of a spirit-led book. That's definitely a great way to be a little more closer to God. Number 3, this is a really great way to spend a little more time with God, and that is to pray while doing your chores. So while you're doing laundry or while you're doing the dishes, I use that little bit of time to talk to God, to pray, to just give thanks, overall. So sometimes I would, like I said, put on my worship music or my sermons, but a lot of the times I like to do my chores in silence now. I've definitely been gravitating towards more silent chores, or, being a little more mindful when I'm cleaning, so that I can use that time to pray, to talk to God, like I said. So that's a great way to talk to Him, or we have conversations with Him through praying. That is how we communicate with Him. So praying during those quiet times is definitely important and can bring us closer. Okay, tip number 4, and I found this to be very helpful, and that is to set some type of reminder on your phone to pray or to reset, right? Or to just do like a self-check, right? So I have reminders that says attitude check. I have reminders that says prayer check, or just like little reminders. I have one with a little water to help me to, drink water throughout the day. So maybe you never thought of it that way, but yes, next time set a little reminder to, kind of like reset or regroup for the rest of the day, because sometimes we can forget to check ourselves, right? Sometimes we'll be on edge, we'll be a little frustrated, and we won't even really notice it, right? So having those self-awareness moments is really beneficial, and it's really great because we always want to operate out of love, and we all know that God is love as well. So I think that's a really great tip. Tip number 5, to spend a little bit more time with Jesus today, and that is to do some simple acts of kindness. God always tells us that that giving and helping the needy, helping the poor, or simply just helping somebody in need is, is pleasing to him. It makes him happy, right? It makes we are planting those seeds nonetheless. So whether it's within your own household today, right? Whether it's helping the homeless or getting out and literally helping somebody at the grocery store line or at the fast food line. I mean, little acts of kindness can literally be anything. And I think being selfless, putting somebody else first is always important and is always pleasing in the eyes of the Lord. So that's definitely another way. Okay, number six, I want us to start putting Jesus at the top of our priority list. Meaning, as soon as we wake up, how can we please Jesus today? How can we further talk to him or get closer to him? How can I be selfless today? How can I please you today? And that is definitely starting to be one of my morning prayers, God, to just use me in this day. How can I help somebody? How can I be fruitful today? How can I be helpful today? So putting God at the top of our list, of course, is definitely a great way to spend more time with him, starting our days off with him, which is going to start our days off right. Okay, my loves, tip number 7. It kind of ties into the rest of them, but this one is to listen to podcasts or sermons while you're cooking or cleaning. So I always gravitate towards either or, but usually it's Joyce Meyer. I just love her. I have all types of reminders on my TV and on YouTube, and I can just never get enough of her words and her sermons and things. So she's usually my go-to when I'm doing cooking, cleaning, chores, whatever. So I definitely recommend listening to some type of uplifting sermons or words, right? That's going to help us understand, right? That's going to get us our word and our daily bread and for the day, right? Because we cannot just live off bread alone, right? We have to have it daily. We have to have different forms of it, right? Different forms of worship and praise and praying and all of that, right? We need him in every form. So next time when you're doing your chores, just try to listen to Joyce Meyer or somebody like that. All right, number 8, spend a little bit more time with Jesus today, and that is to put affirmations or scriptures around your home. Now, when you come into mine, I usually have one probably in, every wall or every other wall. I have them in picture frames. I have them, on canvases. I have them printed out, and it's so easy to do it. You can paint them yourself. You can print them out. You can buy them. There's always a way to get that word up on the walls and, to cover your home, right? So that every corner, every turn that you turn into, every room that you go into, every wall that you turn to, it's just a little affirmation. It's just a little confirmation of God's love and God's powerful, his mercy, God's, promises to us, right? And his teachings, right? We can never have too much of his teachings. So I challenge you to do some printing today, to write them out yourself. I remember before I even had a printer, years ago in our old house, I would write them out, pen and paper. I would cut them out, different shapes, and I would still put them all over my wall. So there's no reason to not have scriptures or affirmations of reassurance within your household. All right, tip number 9 is to download some type of devotional app. So sometimes, you probably don't want to actually pick up a physical book, and that's okay. Technology is changing so much today, and it can still be very beneficial to us. So with that being said, downloading some type of devotional app, some type of Bible app. Of course, Joyce Meyer app is really wonderful. I gravitate towards her app almost every day just to have a little pick-me-up, a little word. She has these little skits on there, little 5-minute sermons, whatever, podcasts. Any type of devotional self-care app. I'll even have a separate video on the best self-care apps that I use on my phone, because again, you do want to use it to your advantage, right? So download some type of devotional app and get your devotional in every single day. And last but not least, my last tip for spending a little bit more time with God, and that is to just take a walk in God's creation. Go out in nature, go fishing, go hiking. I can't do any of that now because it's freezing and we have 3 to 6 inches of snow outside, but we're planning on going sledding, later on in the week, and building snowmans and just really getting out, still using all of God's creation, snow, ice, whatever, to our advantage, right? Go to the beach, go travel if you can, travel and go camping, go, spend time in God's creation. Another easiest way for us to do it is just to go to the park, go hiking, something like that, just to kind of soak up all of his goodness, all of his creations, all of his wonderful, little blessings, beautiful blessings that he has for our eyes and for our lives, right? And just for us to live, right? Plants, animals help us live. So that's my last tip. That's probably the simplest of ways that we can spend a little bit more time with God besides just our normal journaling and Bibling, even though that should be just as important and be just as, current in our lives. But because we all need Jesus, especially in this crazy time that we're living in. So I really hope this video was helpful. And yeah, I will see you in another one. Bye.